the green room, that that we spent a lot of time watching the Haute Hijab YouTube channel today, and that we had laughed, cried, shouted at the TV about how excited we were. Like, I don't know, like she just like Melly and Ahmed are like amazing human beings, and on one of the videos she tells the story about like being just kind of like a kid in school and going into her classroom like before school started to help the teachers do the boards and like decorate, and some other students were there, and two of the students were like, you know, you can't come in here, you're not like us, you're Arabic. Like, ooh. Like, you know, kids can just be mean. And she said it was kind of like the first time that she felt like there was anything different about her. I don't know. And so I just like remembered that moment for myself. And I think that, I don't know, like people aren't kind. And women who wear hijabs deserve to be treated the same way as the rest of us. And they deserve the opportunity to not have to buy like just random pieces of cloth to put on their heads, because that's not what that is. It's not random. So, yeah, it was just really fun watching it. So, and I'm not gonna talk about it a whole lot more because like it really was emotional watching it. It really was.
I mean, it's a foundational piece of your wardrobe. That's what I think people struggle to understand who aren't in that community, that it's not like picking up a pair of sunglasses. That's the way I explain it to people. So think about sunglasses versus your prescription glasses. You won't see me leave my house without my glasses or my contacts, because that's how I function. I have to have it. And no one understands that really. And she's the first woman to create this incredible American brand for all these incredible women. And I mean, her most recent launch is already seeing so much traction. We're super excited about what she's doing in the sport world now. And even those of you who don't follow the Muslim world, I'm sure we all remember all of the athletes across every sport who've either been removed or banned or had something stripped away from them because their hijab was considered, you know, non-uniform or not, you know, whatever the word is in the sport world, for unacceptable, or something that is a necessary part of their wardrobe.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the athletes that's highlighted in the videos today, so they had their sport hijab release today, was a young girl who runs cross country here in Ohio. So she's in Columbus, Noor. And like, that's just how you're disqualified. Like, when you've got everything going for you, your athletic ability is on par or greater than other people who are running in the same field, and you are disqualified afterwards because you wore an extra piece of material on your head for religious reasons. And Brian was talking about this earlier today. Like, I mean, if we really think about like the founding of the United States and how people got here, so many parts of that are kind of intertwined around religious freedom. So like, who are we to say here in 2020 that this group of people doesn't deserve exactly what those early colonists were kind of coming here for? I don't understand it. So it's amazing how quickly we forget the history.
Yeah. And speaking of American freedoms and our rights, guess what else you have the right to do, everyone? You have the right to vote. National Register to Vote Day.
That's exactly right.
If you live in America, elsewhere, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But if you are American, please, even if you think you're registered, let's double check. And if you're not registered, you can go, it's different from state by state, but you can generally go to your state has a website where you can register super quickly, super easily. It'll take you no more than 60 seconds to do it. Please, 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 if you don't do anything else today, even if it means you have to leave our show and you don't watch it, I don't really care. Please register to vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but please, 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 please register and please vote.
And if you've done all of that, Finish your census. Like, that's it, right? Like, you got until the end of the month. So do that too. Like, there are so many things to be working on right now. So if seriously, you're right. If you can't watch this tonight, please go take care of your civic duty.
Please, please, please.
And vote for the winners of this show too.
Oh yeah, because what numbers will they be tonight?
Is it 5 and 6?
5 and 6.
Okay.
Right? No. 6, 7, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
You think Marlon Voice of Job would have came in and voice
the voice of jobs.
The voice.
Marlon, the voice of jobs. Correct.
Wow.
Apple all day.
All day.
Wow.
All day.
Hey Candace, did you know
I
that
sat down with no snacks.
Oh no.
I just need a drink. And I can't drink this. Brian, this is not lemonade.
No, they replaced that too. It's the whole thing's wrong. I'm asking for a full refund.
Question mark. So do they have these in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's Bob's Big Boy.
So so in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, we have Frisch's.
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah.
But do you still call this guy Big Boy?
Yeah, Big Boy.
Big Boy. Got it.
Bob's Big Boy was the national brand. They went out of business, but then the person around here owned his own franchises, and he didn't go out of business. So Bob's Big Boy is gone generally nationally, except for like Dubai or some other places. Like it's like big in Japan or something like that. But in the U.S., it still exists in this region.
You know, sometimes like high school kids
like
would
they might
go.
have the actual answers.
Some kids like in high school, I remember them like going to the Frisch's and like temporarily borrowing the Big Boy from out front, like putting it in a pickup truck and then like
Stealing it, you mean?
Borrowing.
Committing theft?
Yeah. So they own the Big Boy?
They would give it back. In high school, is it theft?
Like, so you had some.
Absolutely, it's theft. Youth is in no way an excuse. See, that's the behavior of people who have too much free time on their hands, which is also why every child should be involved in the arts at a very young age. Keep you busy. But to answer the question, after the Big Boy company kind of dissolved, the Big Boy design aesthetic, logo, and name have all separately been licensed to other chains around the world. So you could license that design, as it seems Frisch's has. And, you know.
Wow.
So we're going to go check to the Big Boy.
There you go.
Okay, well,
Big Boy VC.
VOG said it is time to roll, so I bet you he's going to play a video.
Voice of Jobs.
VOG.
We're a company and a venture capital firm that invests in companies run by women and minorities, particularly when they're away from the coast. I'm very, very focused on the Midwest. You are watching live the first pitch competition on Twitch, where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote for companies that you like best.
So every episode, we have 3 judges, plus you, the audience. You also get to judge each pitch. After each presentation, you'll see a cute little box pop up with a Twitter link for you to vote for if you would invest in the company yourselves.
During round 1, we watched as the startups presented their pitch deck in 5 minutes or less. Then the judges began their Q&A. After we selected viewer-submitted questions for the founders to answer, in the end, the audience and judges had the opportunity to vote in the poll below for the company they like best.
Candace, do you mind if we start?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Marlon, when are you going to get my fade out on that song?
Oh, wow. Are we really critiquing people here?
It's always so harsh. It's just like, boom.
Well, just you sing as it comes in. Like,
Or is there like a final note we can end on?
We'll figure that out behind the scenes. But while we're here, welcome back, everybody. We are on season 3, episode, I don't even know. What is this, episode 4? Episode 4 of season 3 of Twitch Pitch, the very first pitch competition here on Twitch, brought to you by the team at Lightship Capital. As a reminder, every season we have 12 companies that compete head-to-head for the top spot to win a grand prize of $10,000 in cash money and some other cool prizes from AWS and our other sponsors. Here we have the team. Candace, whose hair seems to be stuck in her headphones, is the founder and executive director of the Hillman Accelerator, and she's muted. And she's also a general partner here at Lightship Capital. She's an expert in all things e-commerce and CPG, although maybe not audio electronics. Brian is a GP here at Lightship Capital as well. And he is an expert in all things AI and machine learning oriented. And then I'm Lexi. I'm on the deal team here, and I love all things health tech. So speaking of health tech, we have some really, really great sponsors this season, as we do every season. This season, we are sponsored by the Hillman Accelerator, which is the very first accelerator here in the Midwest, focused on investing in and building underrepresented founders, created here by Candace. We also are sponsored by OTF, which is the Ohio Third Frontier. It's a tech-based economic development initiative. It's part of the Ohio Development Services Agency, and they're committed to transforming the state's economy through accelerated growth of diverse startups and early-stage tech companies. In addition, we're sponsored by AWS, Amazon Web Services. AWS offers reliable, scalable, and inexpensive cloud computing services for companies from startup through growth stage. Free to join, pay for only what you use. And we're also sponsored this season by a super cool new sponsor, AARP's Innovation Labs. They accelerate the innovation ecosystem by working with startups, accelerators, and the innovation community to empower people to choose how they live as they age. So we're really excited to have those sponsors here this season. Thank you all so much. As a reminder, the show goes like this. We have 2 companies where we see their pitch. Afterwards, we bring them on for a little Q&A. Everyone watching, you have the ability to ask them questions throughout their portion of the program as well. So please, anytime you think of a question for the company while they're pitching or while we're doing more Q&A, type it in the comment box in whatever way you're watching this. And then after that, we open it up for voting for everyone. So the votes are as follows. Candace gets 2 votes as our chairwoman. Brian gets a vote. I get a vote. And you, the audience, also get a vote in who makes the finale and who wins the competition. So we are voting this season a little differently. We're voting via texting. So when the time comes, you'll see a number pop up below on the bottom of the screen. Please text the number provided to that phone number. Do not place your votes in the comments. The comment section is for comments and questions about the companies or the show, but for the actual voting, please vote at the phone number that we'll list when the time comes. So those are the rules. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know what, but we're just gonna keep rocking and rolling with it. And we will start with our very first company. We will see Kayleen from Flexia. She's gonna come on and tell us a little bit about herself and why she started the company.
Hey guys.
hey there.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So my name is Kayleen Canavery. I'm a mechanical engineer and a Pilates instructor. And for the last 5 years, I've been traveling the country as a Pilates equipment technician, working on Pilates equipment of all kinds in studios and homes across the country. Now, inevitably, my clients ask me which reformer they should get for their house because they love Pilates so much. But the answer is not obvious. They're either too heavy, too big, too expensive. They don't fit on them. And regardless, a reformer, which is an exercise device, you can't just get on and start pedaling like a spin bike. You need specific instruction for that model. And that type of immersive online experience doesn't exist. So that's why I started Flexia. Now I have a little pet reason too, which is representation. Pilates is stereotypically white, thin and flexible like a dancer. And personally, I may be white, but I'm not a dancer, so needs to change.
I love it.
All right.
Let's see it.
Shall we see the pitch?
Hi, my name is Kayleen Canavary, and I'm the founder of Flexia. Flexia is a connected fitness company that brings the Pilates studio experience into your living room. I want to introduce you to my friend Lisa. Lisa loves to go hiking with her family, but the problem is that hiking makes her knees hurt. She can't always keep up and sometimes hurts for days afterwards. She knows she needs to be stronger, but regular gym workouts also make her knees hurt, just like hiking does. So she's caught in a catch-22. Her doctors actually recommend she try Pilates on a reformer, but her local classes don't have a convenient schedule. The best instructors are always booked, and on top of that, it's expensive. Classes range from $25 to $35 or even more. Now, if Lisa wants to purchase her own reformer for her home, not only do they cost thousands of dollars, actually using a reformer isn't as easy as taking it home and getting on it and pedaling. To use it correctly, Lisa really needs instruction specific to that model of reformer that she has. This is where Flexia comes in. We are making a beautiful and affordable Pilates reformer specifically for at-home use and pairing it with live streaming classes by expert instructors. Now, Lisa can build strength and flexibility with minimal impact on her joints from the comfort and safety of her own home. Pilates is a part of the huge global fitness and wellness industry, specifically in the yoga and mind-body slice of that. Now, I think Pilates is on the verge of a growth spurt, a lot like yoga was several years ago, and I want Flexia to be driving that growth. Pilates on a reformer is awesome because it can be scaled for anyone from a stroke patient to an elite athlete. However, we are targeting a very specific slice of the population for our early adopters. If you look at our demographics, there are 17.5 million women in the US who fit our age and income requirements. And according to studies, 20% of those suffer from activity limiting arthritis or low back pain. Flexia's goal is to capture 1% of those women over the next 3 years, totaling 37,000 members or $96 million in revenue. We plan to make money by the initial sale of the reformer, plus an ongoing monthly subscription of $39 per month. We recently ran a deposit sale where we offered a discount off the future retail price of the reformer in exchange for some money up front. It was incredibly successful. Over the course of 2 weeks, we raised over $21,000 from 61 deposits. This will be worth over $100,000 when the deposits convert to purchase agreements. During our deposit sale, we were able to refine our marketing strategies, build our email list, and really get our CPL down for social media ads. We even started a referral partner program based on popular request. Looking at our North American competition, there are two main competitors of equipment manufacturers, but both of their comparable packages start at over $3,000. There is a low price reformer, but it is just not comparable to any of these. There are some online class platforms using equipment, but they don't have that immersive quality that live classes by consistent instructors bring, and they often aren't on the same equipment that users have at home. A common question I get is if I'm worried about another major connected fitness company entering the Pilates space, and my answer is for right now, no. Pilates equipment doesn't have any data associated with it, like gym weights have pounds or spin bikes have watts. Flexia actually has a prototype of a connected fitness reformer, and it would be the first of its kind in the world. I'm leading the team. My background is in mechanical engineering, and I'm also a certified Pilates instructor. And I have support from my marketing advisor and my software advisor and future CTO. Our next upcoming milestone is a crowdfunding campaign in December, and then we plan to ship our first batch of reformers in spring 2021. Now, there are millions of people out there who want a fitness alternative to the gym, and Pilates on a reformer as it exists today is the perfect solution for that. It's just not accessible to most people. So I invite you to join us as we expand the reach of this unique method and bring the Pilates studio experience into living rooms around the world. Thank you.
Shall I bring her back?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I learned a ton. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We always offer Candace to go first because you.
I'm going to go first this time. So, and is it Kayleen? Am I saying that right? Okay, just making sure. So there are a lot of Pilates purists out there. How is this idea of having a connected reformer? What is the feedback you're getting from those people?
So you seem to be very familiar with the Pilates space. That's awesome.
So I used to own a few fitness studios. So we were focused just on women's fitness. I loved the work. That was 30 pounds ago, and that's okay. So yes, I'm fairly familiar with Pilates.
Yeah. So it depends. There's a spectrum, like you're talking about, of Pilates purists. Right now, you can maybe classify them as classical and contemporary. And this is not a classical machine. This is very much a contemporary machine you would find in most studios. And these are the practitioners that bring in more recent science into the method, and the focus a lot on rehab. So this is really the audience that I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing so much on people who are really emphasizing the way that Joseph Pilates practiced Pilates in the 60s before he died.
Okay, great. So I saw the range of different reformers for in-home use. What is your kind of beta or MVP version? Do you already have that in hand, and are you guys testing it in your facility?
So I have a CAD model, and we are almost done building the prototype. So we don't have anything to show pictures of yet. So once we receive that, then we'll be able to test it here. I have a lot of people lined up and ready to help with that. But I actually used to work for a company, one of those competitors, designing their Pilates equipment. And so I have a really concise plan about how to test this and make sure that once it goes into someone's home, it's going to last and perform as we design it. So that's definitely top of mind.
Oh no, yeah. As hearing your background, it completely makes sense that you're not just going to like throw some stuff, kind of like into a CNC router and like hope it comes out nice. Like I didn't catch that. I didn't think that at all.
Okay.
Not at all. So, all right, who's up next with a question?
Well, I've got a question about the competition in a good way. So I totally see what you're saying. When people ask you questions about Peloton, and I feel like the category is one large and even getting larger. And there's plenty of room for multiple really, really big winners in this connected home space. I think about Mira, for instance. They just had a big exit, as I understand it. So my question for you is, how do you move closer to that model? Is there an opportunity for a screen? Is there an opportunity to use something like computer vision to understand the movements someone's doing and if it's aligned with what you're asking them to do? I'm curious about some of those kind of future opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great question. We definitely want to bring the method into the technology world. And the way that we're coming into that is through sensing load using the springs that are on the reformer. And that is a really awesome way because not only do you get load measurements, but you can also get distance and speed because of the nature of the spring constant. I think there are a lot of interesting things that you can learn from that data and from how people use the online platform because this has never been done before in the Pilates world. In the future, I would love to explore technology like, I don't know if you've seen tonals technology, they call it digital weights. That's a really cool idea that I think would go really well on a Pilates machine. I'd be interested to learn more about VR or body sensing technology, but I really want to understand how accurate it is, because one, in Pilates, we're talking often about very, very tiny details. And two, I want to be very size inclusive. And so I want to make sure that that technology isn't just tested on people where they're elite athletes and you can see each individual muscle on their body. That's not who Flexia is for. So I definitely want to explore that in the future, and I think there's room for that, but it's a practical application thing.
Awesome.
Can I ask just one quick question? Can you share with the audience, like, what makes the Pilates method different than yoga?
Yes, that's a great question. So Pilates on a reformer specifically is like a form of resistance training. And the reformer itself has a carriage that moves back and forth in a frame, and the resistance is provided by springs. And so you're building strength. You often do big movements that kind of look like yoga, and a lot of the names have the word stretch in them, but they're not really stretches. They're not static. It's all moving and developing strength primarily in a very low impact way. So a lot of this is also focused on the mind-body connection. So developing awareness of where your body is in space, which has just amazing benefits for carrying over into regular life.
With your pre-orders or your deposits, and just as you think about customer discovery, is there any sort of geographic framework around that? Like I know that other fitness movements and trends have spread kind of really regionally across some major hubs first and then kind of into the suburbs. Are you seeing any of that, or do you think you'll see any of that as you think about your go-to-market strategy?
Absolutely, that's a great point. If we look at our data from who bought our or who placed a deposit, the biggest concentration of those people are in New York and California. And that's kind of mirrors how Pilates spread from New York to Hollywood, right? And I think that's really what's happening here. So if we're really looking for a geographic spread, which I'm not sure is totally necessary, but it would definitely be awesome to start in like the very health conscious and wealthy San Francisco area to gain a lot more traction.
And one other question, well, as a reminder, for everyone watching, please put your questions and comments in the comment box, and we will ask those on your behalf to Kayleen in just a moment. So Kayleen, one other question. I am a bar girl myself. I am not a Pilates woman. So this may be a dumb question. Explain to me, is it always used in conjunction with the connected kind of internet portion, or are people able to use it as a standalone device without the connectivity of it?
That's a great question. Initially, so our launch next year will not have the connected feature. It will just be a reformer that's standalone, and then you would use your tablet or your phone to take classes if you want. We're actually seeing through our referral partner program, there are a lot of studios who are offering this to their clients because their clients want something at home. And so the opportunity here, I think, is as well to add to our online platform this idea of hybrid teaching, where a student can go in and see their instructor once or twice a month and then work out with their instructor virtually on our platform. And so integrating that, I think, is a really interesting use of this platform. But ultimately, we do want to try and drive people to the platform.
Yeah, and well, I don't see any new questions in the comment box yet. So while you're thinking of your questions, please, if you'd like to vote for Flexia, text the number 7 to 203-408-6432. That's 7 to 203-408-6432. And I'll give you one more of a general question. what do you think that people's habits about going into gyms or seeing trainers versus being able to do that online, do you think that will kind of sway in one way or another post-COVID, or do you think it'll still be some sort of a hybrid blend model, as people have the option to go in but also have the option to continue to see them digitally?
That's a great question. I think that we will see a little bit of a drop off just because there is something to be said about building habits that are outside of your house. But I definitely think there is a huge place for a hybrid system. And as more people are able to work from home, this is definitely going to be one of those things that is like, I'm going to take my lunch break and go do my workout in the other room. So I think COVID actually has really helped make virtual fitness even better, and I think it's here to stay. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Kayleen. I think for a long time, at-home workouts just weren't as good as they could be. So, you know, I grew up on VHS tapes like Walk at Home and like all that other crazy weird stuff. And I mean, there were the Bowflex and the whatever machines were out there, but they weren't great and they were never paired with great instructors. So I think that that's where this kind of big shift is going to happen with kind of in-home. If you can find the celebrity Pilates instructors, which sounds terrible in the Pilates world, like I don't think that those two things should ever go together. Just like Bikram yoga should have never been a thing.
No.
But whoa, I know, right? Controversial. Like you're like, great, the Bikram yoga people are coming for us on Twitch. No, I think that, you know, this new wave is definitely going to happen. It'll be here to stay for a while. It's just who are those people who get in early? So, I mean, best of luck to you. I think this is a great idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We do have one question, and I think I know who it's coming from. So, Lexi?
So Zealous Jr. wants to know, how much room does one of these take up in someone's home?
So it's pretty big. It's about the size of a couch. The footprint would be about 29 inches by 90 inches. But like a rowing machine, you can tip it up on end, which is not a common feature, but you'll be able to tip it up on end to put it in a corner.
Perfect.
And as a follow-up, how strong or flexible does one need to be in order to begin using one?
Not at all. You, like I said in the pitch, you could have severe limitations, so much that you can't use half your body, and you can be on a reformer. Now, being able to use the online platform on your own with the reformer, you should be able to get up and down off the toilet and, you know, maybe bend over. But the idea is that there are levels of classes that fit your needs and your goals, because it is incredibly scalable.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, if you'd like to vote for Flexia, text 7 to 203-408-6432. Once again, that's 7 to 203-408-6432.
I'm buying the thesis about, I think there really is no such thing as a post-COVID world, right? Like the people who weren't in love with going places and the germs and all those things, they have all the reason now that they've ever wanted to like say, you know what? I'm going to do some things at home, do some things out of the house, but I'm not going to like go back to the old world of like before COVID. So I think more and more of these companies will have a much greater opportunity because of that.
Yeah, I'm also going to add that, you know, when I had my studios, you know, I would go bop around to other studios in town just to like try their workouts or just to like have something different. There's just nothing like taking someone else's class. And Pilates can be sometimes, and depending on the studio, very elitist. And you can go in, even being in great shape and getting side eye from other people there at the studio. And Pilates, like she mentioned, is kind of like, there's a low barrier to entry, right? Like, and it's really made for everybody. And if you are fairly out of shape or you have any sort of, ailment or disability, like it's just a great place to start. And it's great for people as they get older. And I would go sometimes even with like a six pack, but like still have a chat. Like these were hard classes. And I just remember feeling uncomfortable around some of the men in the class. So I could imagine that doing this at home would be fantastic and phenomenal. I know for myself, I'll never step foot in another Pilates studio, at least here locally, because not everybody's nice. And so doing this at home, I think could be really big. Fitness is really personal. So being able to do it from the comfort of your home, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I've never taken a Pilates class, but for me, just ease of access is what everything is moving towards. Everything should be more accessible from the comfort of your home. Every single style of fitness, whether it's your Peloton or whatever you're doing on Mirror or Tonal or whatever, you should be able to do it at home. And I didn't know that her competition was so expensive. That I think the least expensive one was somewhere around $4,000, and that was completely just standard equipment, nothing connected. So this makes absolute sense. Absolutely great M&A opportunities within fitness right now, and fitness related hardware and software. And she's an engineer, is the person to build this company too, right? Like,
yeah,
you see a lot of these and people are all trying it and they're all, no offense, but they're ex-bodybuilders or they're, ex-athletes. But to see an engineer be the person designing this is the way it needs to happen.
Yeah, and she's seen it from within companies where she was already building reformers, right? So she already knows like the things that were working and weren't working and how to improve upon them. So no better person to build.
Totally agree.
That was fantastic. Right. So while we get ready for our next contestant, let's take a quick commercial break and hear from my friends at AARP.
We are AARP Innovation Labs, the place where leaders with bold ideas and visionary entrepreneurs meet to solve the most prevalent problems in society. We want to ignite a future where aging well is the norm. Our work with startups accelerates product and service solutions that generate significant impact in the community we serve.
It's always so snappy, that commercial. Just like boom, boom.
Boom, boom. And speaking of boom, let's bring on Matt from Moolathon. That was a terrible transition.
Wow.
I don't know what that was, Max. Speaking of boom.
Our apologies.
Well, because I was going to try to take boom to moolah, but it didn't work out.
Not the greatest transition, but we'll work with it. It's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Mac, you know the drill. We're going to give you 60 seconds on the clock. Tell us about you, who you are, why you built this.
All right. So my name is Mac Wilkinson. I am the CEO and founder of Moolathon. I am a former professional athlete and college athlete as well. I played at the University of Louisville and Howard University, and then I played overseas for 8 years. I grew up in youth sports, and I went from being the kid that was knocking on doors, selling popcorn and candy and everything you can think of, to being the adult and people coming to me, my friends coming to me, asking me to help them with their underprivileged sports programs, helping them provide uniforms and things like that. And as I got suckered into participating in some 5Ks and even help organize some of these 5Ks, I realized what a big headache this was, and to organize these events, but how popular and how much money it raised. But I realized that there was a barrier of entry for underprivileged sports programs and things like that to put on these type of events with the overhead. So I set out on a goal to create something that could help raise money for underprivileged sports programs in the beginning, but also mid and small size charities and organizations. But yeah.
Mac, what's the sport? What did you play?
I played basketball.
Okay, got it.
Oh,
Cool.
Absolutely.
Also, for the record, he did say, Howard, just for everyone, hear that.
The real.
So I get very excited about. That's like one of my favorite schools.
Gotcha. So biased.
All right. Let's watch the pitch.
It's okay.
So let's see the pitch.
Crowdfunding exploded in popularity after the global financial crisis began in 2007. When bank and government funding dried up, businesses, charities, and individuals turned to crowdfunding as a creative way to raise funds. Since then, crowdfunding has become a $34.4 billion industry and growing. However, crowdfunding has a major problem. Studies show that our abilities to relate to a cause and contribute lessens with each additional campaign we encounter. We simply lose trust that our money will be used for its intended purpose. Crowdfunding desperately needs a level of accountability that makes each campaign more relatable to us all. Fitness is something we can all relate to because it's an essential part of our everyday lives. 97 million people in the US alone are considered obese. 2.1 billion people are considered obese worldwide. 58% of all smartphone users have downloaded fitness apps to their mobile devices, yet 77% of these apps will be deleted after being open less than 10 times. Downloads tell us that people have every intent on meeting their fitness goals. However, usage and the rate in which they are deleted tells us that people have trouble staying motivated to do so. So I ask you, is it possible to motivate people to reach their fitness goals while adding a level of accountability that makes crowdfunding more relatable to us all? Introducing Moolathon. Moolathon is a social fundraising platform and fitness tracker. It gives charities, groups, teams, and individuals the ability to raise money for a cause through the pursuit of a cause that we can all relate to, getting fit. Our goal is to monetize your fitness for a cause, and we accomplish this in two simple ways. Campaigns are for individuals looking to raise money for a cause with every single mile that they personally run or walk. Virtual fitness events help expand the fundraising reach of any charity, school, team, group, or organization by enabling them to create virtual events that their supporters can participate in anytime, anywhere. An individual creates a campaign and then shares that campaign via social media, text, and email. When someone encounters that campaign and wishes to contribute, they pledge a dollar amount per mile, limited to a maximum number of miles that they set. Once you receive pledges, you simply go out and track your miles, and every single mile that you log earns a bit more of each of your contributors' total potential pledge. At the end of your 7, 14, or 30-day campaign, your contributors are charged for the amount of miles you've logged or the maximum number of miles they've set if you have exceeded that amount. This is Sarah. Sarah's dream is to run in the Boston Marathon. However, it's an extremely expensive endeavor when you factor in nutrition, travel, training, etc. She's using Moolathon to track her training runs and help sponsor her way into participating in the Boston Marathon. This is Rita and Rashid. They're using Moolathon as motivation to meet their fitness goals on their wedding day and potentially raise a little more money for their new life together. Virtual events are created by groups, teams, and organizations looking to expand their fundraising reach. They share this with their supporters via social media, text, and email. Those wishing to participate in this event enjoy the benefit of only paying $3 to $10 versus the national average of $30 to $50 for physical events. Once registered, your supporters can participate in this event anytime, anywhere. You no longer have to ask them to wake up at 7 a.m. on their off day, come to your event venue, give you $30 to $50 just to go home with a t-shirt. Moolathon adds an element of convenience to these fundraising events that allows you to reach more people in more places. This is the higher level AAU girls basketball team. They're using Moolathon as a zero overhead alternative to fundraising, creating a virtual only link that allows them to raise money virtually only. This is the Wounded Warriors of Louisville. They're using Moolathon as a virtual extension to an annual event that they hold every year. Now, for all their supporters that couldn't make it at that particular date or time, they can use Moolathon for an additional 30, 60, or 90 days to register for and to participate in this event, allowing them to reach more people in more places. Let's talk about how we make our Moolah. Moolathon receives 7% of all funds raised plus an additional 3% credit card processing fee. From the perspective of our users, it's a 90-10 split. We do offer discounted pricing for charities and nonprofits who validate their status. This is only step one of a three-part revenue model that we are injecting. Future revenue models include premium services that unlock premium features and also ad revenue. We believe that we've created a strong team to position ourselves to win in this market. My name is Mac Wilkinson. I'm the CEO and founder of Moolathon, a former college athlete. My business partner and vested interest in this company is Rajan Rondo. He's our director of influence who not only cares about this product, but also has a passion for giving back. We've also got a great development team with over 40 years of combined experience, and we are currently participating in the Awesome Inc. Fellowship, which we consider a sixth member of our team. Thank you for listening.
All right, let's bring him back. Boom, good to have you. I gotta give Lexi a hard time. She's so good all the time. So you have to, whenever you get a chance, you have to really kind of keep going. If you mind if I go first this time, Candace? Perfect. So I love this idea of not everyone having to get up at 7 a.m., all huddle together, particularly again in this post-COVID world, right? Where we can still have the events, we can still fundraise, but we can have fans in our city or in other cities all doing the same thing, all for the same idea, with the same cause, essentially. So you explained it well, but if you could kind of go a little deeper as to why. Do you think that's one of your key competitive advantages? And if not, what else do you think is?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our key competitive advantages is obviously, opening up fundraising to the mid to smaller charity and also to AAU teams and things like that otherwise wouldn't have these opportunities. But also we are the first program out there that actually puts real cash into people's pockets. So when people join up with Moolathon, whether you're an organization or an individual, you connect your account and we put that money into your account at the conclusion of your event within 7 to 10 business days. So we're putting real money into real people's pockets, which is something that none of our competition is doing. And that's one of our key competitive advantages for sure.
You also have a director of influence, which most people don't have in their companies and their decks. Tell me a little bit about what that actually means, like what's being delivered, and then how do you plan on growing that with maybe other influencers as well?
Yeah, so Rajan he's a good friend of mine, and he's also believing in this product from day one. He also has his own Rajan Rondo Foundation, which is dedicated to serving underprivileged youth. So he has a passion for that. And when he heard about Moolathon, he realized that this was a great idea and this was something that could bridge that gap and help lower that barrier for fundraising for some of these underprivileged youth and some of these smaller programs. So he was a believer from day one. He was our first investor, and he really believes in it. Rajan also has built up a lot of character, and he's actually got influence amongst his peers in the NBA. So he's not only agreed to support this financially, he talks about it all the time, and it's also one of those things where he wants to recruit other professional athletes that also have foundations that also care about giving back, especially to underprivileged youth. And professional athletes, especially basketball players, they're a perfect fit for Moolathon. They all have foundations and they all have a voice. So he's a very, very active member. He would have been here tonight if he wasn't suiting up for a game that's about to start here in about an hour and 30 minutes. So
there's something important going on. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So who's going next? Lexi, you go next. I'm going to go last.
Okay. So
well, it's because I've downloaded the app. I've downloaded the app, and so I have questions. So I'm getting through them.
I remember there were habit-breaking apps that were pretty popular a couple of years ago, and my inner nerd also remembers studying some of the the behavioral economic theory behind why those apps were successful, are there particular elements of behavioral econ or psychology that you're really able to kind of grab onto that makes people on your platform more successful at whatever the goal or whatever the fundraise is than other platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why we actually wanted to, that's another reason why we tied the fundraising element to fitness. You know, it's a motivation factor. You know, if you can't, you know, encourage yourself to get up and to get fit, then hopefully, you know, knowing that you're doing it for someone else, knowing that you're doing it for a greater cause will help motivate you to do it even more. So we've seen great success with that. We've heard lots of stories about people being motivated by the causes that they're raising money for. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's the whole feel-good approach to fundraising that we offer.
Yeah, and remind me again, you had 3 different revenue streams, and I'm struggling to remember them. Remind me again.
Yeah, so right now it's just a straight up percentage of everything made. We also have a set of premium features that we are currently building out. So on one side of things, there's the organizational side of things. So we've got like some admin tools and things like that that are being built that people have to have access to for communication to the people who are signed up for your events and things like that. And then the last part of it is ad revenue.
I hate to offer ideas about monetization because investors too often try to tell startups how to make money. It's usually very painful, but
you can't help yourself. So
but
go
I
ahead.
can't help myself. So with that caveat, I see you're wearing some lovely merch there today, my friend. I think about these big events, and like you said, you get a T-shirt. Why not just take all those addresses and mail those shirts out for these events, and then of course get a little bit of every single shirt as well? Because some people may have 1,000 shirts, right? And this could be a quick few grand every single event as well.
That's absolutely something that we are working on. And it's actually when you start looking deeper into like our competition, which is Run Sign Up. Run Sign Up pretty much exists only on the web. There's no app or anything associated with. But when you start delving deeper into it, you realize that they're not into the fitness motivation game or the fundraising game. They're in the merchandise game, right? So what they do is they basically have the sign up form and the payment processing, and they're big on selling T-shirts and race bibs and finisher medals, and that's how they generate their revenue. So it's very heavy on our target radar as to providing merch. Another thing too, that since we're talking about revenue streams, that's come up on our radar recently is employee incentive programs. We're in the home of healthcare here in Louisville, Kentucky. We've talked to several healthcare CEOs that I'm welcome to talk about offline. And you know, a lot of these companies have people that are sitting home now, especially now during the pandemic, and they're providing healthcare for these people, and they're looking for ways to get them active. And so that's another thing that's on our radar, but I don't quite include it in the official document because it's sort of a new development for us. So that's a new development in healthcare for us.
So can I find events in here, or can I just start
You can
events
find them.
here?
You just got to hit the magnifying glass, and then you can find ones to join. And then you can also find, users to follow and campaigns to support as well. So, you know, if you feel like supporting someone or joining an event or something, you know, just since you're on the app, you know.
There's a lot of stuff in here. Now that you've taught me, there's only 3 buttons. There are only 3
I'm
buttons.
actually biting my tongue because there's actually like some big updates that we've been dealing with for like the past week and a half that I think are going to be really exciting, but trying not to tell the world about that before we push an update. So
I don't have any more questions, but I guess this is kind of off topic. Tell me a little bit about the Louisville tech community, because you're bringing it up. And we've invested in one, and we will be doing one more soon. Thank you. I caught myself, Lexi.
That's us, right? I know. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
You know, you're in the pipeline. You're in the pipeline. Let's do that. So tell me a little bit about the Louisville tech ecosystem.
Well, it's been great. You know, there's benefits to like a smaller market and a bigger market. We've been lucky. We won a vote award in 2019. We also won, which is in Lexington, not quite Louisville. We won in 5 Across. So we've been very privileged to have like a lot of mentors and a lot of pillars of the startup community here. It's great in that anything that you want is very accessible. Any type of advice, any type of just about everyone is one phone call away. It's just about 1 degree of separation with everyone. However, the talent pool is obviously very shallow. Access to capital is non-existent, really. And then add being a Black founder on top of that, not to do whatever, but it's
big facts. We know that. Yeah.
It is what it is.
So I mean, there's literally like one group in Kentucky that's an angel group, and we'll talk about that offline or something like that. But it's capital is non-existent, and talent is very shallow. The talent pool is very shallow. When there is great talent here, they usually get plucked out to go somewhere else, to Cincinnati, Nashville, somewhere like that. So holding on to talent is a deal. But like I said, the great thing about it is just about everyone is a phone call away. So
yep, that's very true about the Midwest. We do like to help. We sometimes want to help too much.
Yeah.
All right, Lexi, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. I know you have lots of things to say.
No, you're good. If you'd like to help Moolathon, how about that for a transition, guys? If you'd like to help Moolathon, vote for them by texting 8 to 203-408-6432. Once again, that's the number 8 to 203-408-6432. And as you're thinking about Moolathon, feel free to drop some questions in the comments. We're going to start with Brian Landers. He wants to know, how frequently do customers or users use the platform? As his first question.
Yeah, we actually found out that in our initial I guess I should start by talking about the launch. We were testing since November of 2019. I'm a product guy. My background is in branding and design. That's a whole other thing we could get into. But being a product guy, the product is never finished in my eyes. There's always more refinement and more details that you could get into. But in March, obviously, the pandemic happened, and people started searching. And so I went ahead and forced the app out there early just to see, what would happen. And we started getting customers. And, what we found out initially is that people were coming to the app, and we had a high churn rate because they were coming to participate in this event, and we would get groups or organizations, and then they would never come back. So we've been evolving the platform over and over and over again, and it's been slowly and steady evolving since March. We've probably had 12 or so updates, and to try to reduce that barrier of entry, to try to get people to come back. And that's actually one of the big things that I'm holding my tongue on, as to a new feature that we've got coming out that's going to help us increase daily usage. But right now, we're averaging 4.5 a year for individuals and 3.5 for groups and organizations. But we hope to increase that number dramatically with some of the features and some of the things we're working on to help reduce that barrier of entry, and also help reduce our churn rate as well.
Great. And Brian, also I was curious about, apart from influencer reach, what are some of the growth strategies that you have in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously celebrity influence is a huge side of things on the inside, on the individual side of things. But groups and organizations are a great target for us. Targeting sales for charities. A small charity has, a mid-sized small charity has 10 to 15,000 people on the email list. They're also really great in promoting their own events. And, we always, every time we get a charity to put on a great event, and we see a successful event, we see a direct correlation to the individual users who sign up for the platform and who use the platform for their own individual campaigns. So more charities, more schools. We are actually talking to entire school districts. Currently, we're talking to Jefferson County. We're going live with our first pilot program school, which is Ballard High School. You think about one school under one roof, you got freshman, JV, boys basketball team all doing their own fundraising. Then you got girls, then you got football, soccer, there's debate team, there's beta club, there's all kinds of things like this. And this is a great way for, not only for them to have effective fundraising, but also to get the parents involved and to kind of have that fun competitive spirit as well. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Once again, if you'd like to, firstly, before voting, if people are curious to download Moolathon and find events in their own community, how do they do that?
Moolathon.com, or you can just go on the App Store and search for Moolathon. We are currently only available on the App Store. On the iOS App Store, we are developing our watch platform right now. We got Android coming soon. We're interviewing Android developers. So we're expanding our platform, and it's growing every single day. Yeah, so just keep your eye out on us for sure.
Fantastic. And to vote for them, text 8 to 203-408-6432. Once again, the magic number is 8 to 203-408-6432. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. We're getting fit tonight. I love it. How was that?
Efficient. Who's gonna go
I'll go
first?
first because I liked it. I mean, I like everything. I'm like,
Go for
you know, I'm like Paula, or, you know, on the American Idol back in the old days. Like, but this is an idea that usually the idea is good and the execution is bad. You know, this is a case here where the execution is actually pretty good. Like the screens that he showed made sense to me. I could figure out what was going on, what I was joining, why I was joining, why I would care. The model for payment makes sense to me. The need is very clear. I think it'd be easy to identify those new customers and users and target them online and get them to convert. And it seems also slightly viral in nature as well. So it's just a matter of scale, really. I like it. And it's also a company you could build anywhere. I think this would be a great company for like Tulsa or other places. Yeah, like it.
Yeah, the execution in app is actually fairly good. It's got some buggy things to it, but like overall, it's a great first, second, third version. I'm not quite certain what version we're on. Yeah, it's working well. For me, I'd like to better understand the business model at scale and how many users they need to get to be profitable. Because if you look at the breakdown for like credit card transactions and taking a percentage, it's going to take a long time to get, you know, to a place where they can be profitable. But if they keep a pretty slim team, maybe that is a possibility.
Yeah, I would have led with the merch as well because that's just more money in the kitty. But yeah,
the logistics of that is pretty heavy, though, don't you think? Initially, like this is a good place to start for an MVP.
Well, you can just take we can debate it, but you can take a spreadsheet and
let's debate it. Yeah,
you can just take a spreadsheet of addresses, you upload them to whatever provider, and they drop ship those things to those addresses.
That's true. I just hate terrible race t-shirts. So someone who's done like 5, 10K stuff, like I love it when I can wear my t-shirt all the time and not just have it like where the neck is falling apart and it just like coming apart at the seam. I really want my t-shirt to last. So I understand like the drop ship perspective, but I also want a nice shirt. Gotcha.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Lexi.
I'd love to see companies like this, as I mentioned earlier, are really, really driven by psychology. And I'd really love to see someone who has experience in gamification take a look at this. I'm by no means an expert in it, but I can promise you there are things you can do to increase the likelihood of your people coming back and really encouraging users to find new excuses to come back to use this and put more money on the platform. Like I said, there are habit-breaking apps and websites that have done this pretty successfully. Like you can, put up a $200 thing about stopping smoking or whatever. And if someone in your community sees you doing it, then, you don't get the money and it gets divvied up to a charity. There's definitely some interesting principles behind gamification that really should be implemented here early on to increase the value of each customer.
Is that a dog?
It was. I was trying to get to the mute button.
Lexi, you want to take us out?
It sounds like Hamilton says it's time for us all to go. This has been another great episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for season 3 of Twitch Pitch. Thank you to our incredible sponsors, the Hillman Accelerator, the Ohio Third Frontier, Amazon Web Services, and the AARP Innovation Labs. It's been a great show, everyone. Thank you again. And tune in on Thursday for another episode. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here, either on Twitch or on YouTube or Facebook or however you're watching this. Go back to the same place you were, watch the next episode, and see 2 more really cool companies to pitch.
Awesome. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. I love how behind the scenes is actually just exactly the same, but with a little ticker that runs across the bottom.
Well, I think you could lean back a little bit more from behind the scenes.
Yeah. Aw, thanks, Brian Landers, for watching.
Brian Landers is great.
Yeah, pretty dope.
Love that.
It's pretty dope when our peers watch. Like, it just feels cool.
Nobody's about Brian Landers, by the way. One of those people that no one, if someone had a problem with Brian Landers, then I'd have a problem with them kind of person,
And don't nobody want no problem with you, huh, Brecky?
No.
I love it.
Can we talk a little bit more about our announcement today? Because I'm just so excited about that company. I just want to talk about it all the time.
We could talk about that, or we could talk about Quibi.
The opposite of that, right? How much did they raise? You probably know.
We're at a total of 1.7 billion raised.
What
And
a
they think
flop.
they're going to raise more or sell because plot twists, no one's using it.
And 80% plus of that was before launch, right?
100%.
100%
That last round was like beginning of March, and they launched in April.
Oh, God. It's literally impossible to be successful. Like you literally can't win with that much money pre-launch. You destroyed the opportunity to win.
They lost me when they tried to turn Nicole Richie into Nikki Fresh. What is that? And then they tried to give like one of the Kardashians a fake twin. Who cares? Like
This was if like take all the tech out of it. This was my biggest misstep, was that none of the content was interesting. I didn't want to watch any of the content. You had just really dumb shows where I had no incentive to want to download it, even for the free trial to watch it. It was ridiculous. And you would think, coming from Jeffrey Katzenberg, that they would know what whatever their demo was wanted to watch. And it's all awful.
They don't even know the demo, I don't think. I really believe that.
No, I don't think they do, because the way they target me, it's as if they've not read everything that I've already tweeted about them.
I agree.
Like it's constant too. I mean, every platform, they're just like trying to jam this content at me, and I watch it just to see the train wreck. So maybe they just like, obviously they aren't like catching my facial expressions, but it's really bad.
I do watch it just to hate on it, like just to see how bad it is. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
I feel like it was made with this assumption that my generation, that our attention spans are so little, right? And we can't sit through an entire, 30-minute episode of a television program. And that's just not true. Like,
well, like you love Hamilton, for instance. How long is that show? Like,
what show?
Hamilton, the Broadway.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Did you have a hard time following?
No. And even in anything I watch, like even when I'm a big YouTube watcher, like I do watch a lot on mobile. Well, back when I would, take transportation and things, I'm not looking for 6 to 8 minute videos. I actually watch longer form things on YouTube. I'm looking for the 20, 30 minute shows to watch. I'm not looking for snippets. I refuse to call them quibbies as a noun or as a verb.
Is that what they call it?
Quibbies?
They tried to make it a thing, yeah. Like, oh, I'll get to you in a Quibi.
Oh God.
Oh no.
What? You guys didn't get those ads? Those are all the ads I get.
Oh,
They
that's
tried to make it a thing.
cringy.
No.
That's the cringiest thing I've
I had no
ever
idea.
heard. Yikes. Yikes.
Oh yes.
Everyone canceled. They're all like, yeah, I was out. Like,
Yikes.
And did you guys see that after that report came out about whatever it was, 90% of people canceling after their trial, that they came back and tried to deny that those statistics were completely false?
that's ridiculous. Everyone I know canceled. Everyone I know.
I didn't even get a trial. I was out on the ads. So, yeah.
Yeah, I watched some show, but it was on YouTube, like a little sample, and then I was out. I didn't even download it.
I mean, go ahead, Brian. And then I have a question that will be controversial here.
But before that, imagine a scenario where the category definer is Netflix, rich, long form content, right? And so we'll take the very best product in the category, and I'm going to make something the exact opposite of the most successful product in its category, just to be different. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. At all. Okay, sorry. I get upset.
That's okay. My question is, for those of us who don't live in kind of like VC founder world, what's going to happen to Clubhouse? Like, I see everybody on there, and I'm on there, but like, what's the value being added? And like, how do you exit that? I'm just
value.
uber confused.
No value. I will say, I do see it slowly creeping to be a little bit of a wider demographic than like West Coast VC. Just slow. I'm starting to see some conversations on there that are a little more like interesting. But that said, it's just a chat room. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yawn, boring.
That's why.
Never into it. It literally won't hold my attention.
Yeah.
I don't understand listening to other people talk about themselves incessantly in random groups. I don't get it.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, and it's the same people like all the time. And there's even like, welcome to Clubhouse, Sarah. Welcome to Clubhouse, Candace. Everybody get on and welcome them. What is that?
It's weird.
It's very weird.
And those founders, they're already done. They've already exited as far as look at those numbers. They got their cash early.
Yeah, facts. You're right, Brian Landers. It does end up being another Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at
Anyhow,
for the behind the scenes. I appreciate you out there.
I really do. I love it when they do.
Helen, we haven't seen Helen this season yet.
Hey, Helen.
Yeah, keep it coming.
I'm gonna have to like do so. Helen Griffin Jr. Okay, which is interesting and very. I know very few women that are juniors, but like my aunt is a junior. It just randomly happens. Is that Southern?
Maybe.
I don't think so. One of my best friends in college, her name is Therese, and she's the third.
I love that.
And it was like a very prominent thing in their family that women were named after the other women. I would totally do it. I would 100% name a child Alexis or Alexander or Alexandria after myself.
Or Alexander Hamilton.
My dog. Absolutely.
So Helen named after her mom and took it on.
The junior. Yeah.
I like it because why don't we do that more often?
Oh.
Sexism. That's why. Just sexism. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Can you imagine? Who are these teachers? Mind your business. I'm signing what I want to sign.
I love it. All right. Well, folks, it's time. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Oh, we got some.
Oh, yes, please.
The
issue we had with other athletic hijabs is
Oh.
that they may be made for Muslim women, but they don't
Proud
work for a
investment.
lot of us. It needs to be built with care. It needs to fit and be more than purely functional. We wanted to design an athletic hijab with enough options to work for every Muslim woman to feel beautiful in.
I love this.
An
Her whole
athletic
vibe
hijab
is so
needs
dope.
more than a one-size-fits-all
Oh.
approach for the modern.
Actually, Marlon, can you play the
That's why we
commercial?
designed 4 different styles for every woman to decide what
We
aligns
should
with
start
her
dropping
personal
our
aesthetic.
investment commercials.
Hijab is such a personal choice.
Right, Lexi?
So the commercial is the second one to the right. Yes. That
Yes.
one's like a minute long.
Full screen. Full screen.
Yes, this is it.
Hey you, there's nothing you can't do, right? I'm busy. Of course you are. Can't change the game? Got 'em. Can't do more than you did yesterday? You can't be stronger? You can't be tougher? You can't do stretchy backward stuff? You can't miss? Sorry. You can't beat your personal best? You can't do the coolest thing in this video? You come back even stronger. They tried to ban you? You don't sweat it, right? I'm cool. All right, ladies, go out there and get it, because we never settle for anything. So tell me I can't. I dare you.
That's my favorite thing.
It's just
Period.
so dope. Just brand, category defining brand, period. Like, there's no argument.
God. That is like, I love them all, right? And you just love them all for different reasons. And this is just it. Like, congratulations to Lexi on our team for sourcing
Shout out
that
to
company.
100%. She's been
Yeah.
tracking it for a long time. And, you know, Lexi, we were watching her video about kind of the last 10 years and what she's kind of gone through to get to this point. And Kenneth and I were saying, Lexi knew about her at that stage, you know, like.
Well, not 10 years ago. But
No. It wasn't
5 years ago. 5 years.
in her, halfway through her journey, where folks should have been investing, right? And she was still having to scrap it out. And it
she had
sounds
to
like,
move in with her mother.
yeah, before she went back to her mom's house, even to get it all done, you saw that. You saw, you know, you knew what it was. I'm
They
just.
call me Miss Cleo.
Good job, Miss
Close it
Cleo.
out.
All right.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time to sign off.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.